Alright, welcome everyone. My name is Randy with Shattered Productions, and today I'm going to do a quick tutorial about keyframing in Blender, and I'm using it right now to complete a shot of these two girls talking. They're going to say, hey, change the channel back, and the camera is then going to scroll over to this guy, and he's going to be talking. So I've already imported the names, or the dialogue here, and I've enabled under playback audio scrubbing so that when I move the cursor it's gonna basically play the words. I'm not gonna hear everything they're saying. It's gonna sound muttered, but the process basically just involves using the shape key editor to adjust their mouths and make it look like they're talking. So what I'll do is I'll start from scratch, just kind of show you guys how to set this up. So 1 second. Alright, so I'm starting with a blank screen here, just whatever. And just to kind of show you how to make a mouth and set some shape keys, I'm just going to do a quick little demo, I guess, and you guys have already seen the end result, so it'll be pretty easy to visualize. Let me set my screencast key so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, so I'm just going to make a simple mouth. And yeah, that'll pretty much be it. Okay, so this guy's got a mouth. And you can kind of see it, I guess, like how it looks like oh my gosh, I'll give him some eyes too so it doesn't look so creepy. Alright, so you can see it. Now I'm just gonna add a modifier, because if I don't and I try to add a modifier later, it'll just mess it up. Okay, so basically for this example, that'll be fine. We've got our guy here. And you know what? I can even make him a little happier. Okay, so he's smiling. And let's go ahead make this smoother so it looks better. Alright, so you're all set basically to add some keyframes, and you could even make like a human head. It doesn't have to be a circle, you know, it could be like it could have a nose with a cylinder or whatever. It's just a good place to start. And what I'm doing is I'm adding these loop cuts just to make it look not so weird. Gosh dang it. Alright, so we've got our guy. Now I'm going to go into this little triangle. I guess it's just what is it? I don't know. And I'm going to add shape keys. So this being our neutral guy, it's going to add a basis by pressing this little plus sign right here. And this is basically the neutral face. So when I go into edit, or I'm going to add okay, so now I'm ready to add my first shape key, which is right there. I'm going to go into edit mode, and I'm going to set this to how I want it to be anytime I go to this key 1. So I'm just selecting these points. You know, it's just, there's no real like one size fits all approach to this. It's just kind of whatever's particular to your certain model. So you'll see like creases and things like that, so you want to kind of get rid of them if you can. Alright, well that looks alright. So see, now what you have is you've got your basis shape, you've got your key shape, and now when you come down here to the value and just adjust the slider, you can make it look like he's talking, I guess. And when you're animating, it looks kind of like this. You bring it up, and you got the shape key editor. See, you can add keyframes to the shape key and basically control it that way. Now there's ways to use the NLA editor to make it a bit more streamlined, but yeah, so you set a keyframe there, and set a keyframe there, set a keyframe there, and maybe even just like duplicate it just to make it last a little longer. And there he goes talking. La la. You can do the same thing to add blinks and other things. And the other thing you can do too, just of course you can add more than one keyframe. Which when I animate this shot, you're gonna see that. Basically, make sure the first keyframe that you set is set to 0. Add another one, and then you can do the same thing. Go into the edit mode, and you can just kind of arrange the mouth into the general shape you want it to be. Okay, so now this one, oh no, and you can also combine it with this one, so in that way you can just make a bunch of different mouth shapes, you know. Okay, so yeah, looks pretty good. It's fairly simple when you get the hang of it. There's things you can do, of course, that can mess it up really easy, and if you haven't played with it, it's gonna make it kind of confusing to correct. But yeah, that's the gist of it. So I'm gonna go back to the other file, and then we'll animate a little bit of that shot. Okay, now here we are. I'm not gonna animate very much of it, just like a word or two, because it's gonna get pretty annoying when I'm scrubbing through this. You're gonna hear some pretty crappy audio, but just so you kind of see how this works. So the first thing I'm gonna do is the shot continues from here. So I'm going to set the initial keyframe how her face is frozen. So I'm just go in here, and these two control her eyes, these two controlled how stoned her eyes look. So I'm only worried about right now the mouth. I'll go and do the eyes afterwards, but I just find when I'm doing words and dialogue and people's mouth movements, it's just better to focus on the mouth. So I'm gonna hover over these and press I. Let's see, I always forget these. Sometimes they help and sometimes they don't. Okay. Now I'm gonna go into the audio, come up here to the very beginning, and I've got my own way of doing this. You can go into the NLA editor, you can make these each set of keyframes that are going to be used to represent a certain sound, you can make them into their own little block of letters, and that's fine, and it does, you know, make the process a little bit faster, or it can if you use it right. But I prefer to just animate each mouth movement by hand. That's just my personal choice. I just think it makes it look more organic and not so robotic. But you can watch other tutorials and figure out how to use the NLA editor. This is just my personal choice. You don't have to do this way, and I understand that it's a little bit more work, but I like the result. Okay, so I've got these keyframes frozen there. Now the first word I can see starts about right here, the first sounds. So the first word she says is change. She's saying change it back. So I'm gonna try and make her mouth form to the change, the A of change. So she says change it, and the mouth, the lips don't close. So change it. But they probably would dip a little bit right there. And you know what I'm going to do, actually? I'm going to cheat a little bit. And I'm going to just copy those over. So you can see. Oh, the other thing I want to do too is pretty much just hide everything. Okay, that works. So that way it'll go a little bit faster. So I'm a little bit late. Got a problem, the camera's moving before I'm done. So I'm going to just simply move this for right now. Oops. Shift H to delete everything, or not delete, to hide everything that you're not selecting. Okay, so what I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to render this shape. I don't really need to see everything else to know. I just want to know if I'm on the right track about the mouth. The only real way to see how it's going is to render it, and I'm only going to render from frames 10 to 40, you know. So 30 frames, literally a teeny bit more than a second long, but I'll know from that if this is good. So let me save this real quick. I'm going to render it real quick and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so it just started raining here, but I got my shot rendered. You might hear a little bit of rain in the background. I'm almost done here. It'll be pretty quick. What I've done is I've imported the file of the render, and that's how it looks completed. And I've also inserted my audio file. So now if I play it, all I'm checking to make sure is that the mouth syncs up with the words alright and looks okay. Here we go.
Change it back.
You'll see it goes really quick, but the words do match up.
Change it back.
And I have no complaints. I like how that looks. So I'm gonna proceed with the clip. I'm gonna finish up the words of the dialogue of the other characters, and then I'm gonna worry about the eyes and the body movements and things like that. But so yep, I hope you learned something, and I'll also put a tutorial on how to render these clips if you guys haven't seen that before. So thanks. Bye.
Get back.